I connected an RTX 5080 to my cheap mini PC, and it actually doubled my FPS.
All right, so this right here is a external GPU dock. So if you guys want to connect literally any graphics card to literally any mini PC, it could even be like the worst mini PC, you guys will need an external GPU dock, which is this right here. It is from Minis Forum, and it did only cost $100. So it's relatively cheap to connect an external graphics card to your mini PC, or even any laptop that you guys want to plug it into. This dock basically helps with that. It has all the connectors for like your power supply and your motherboard, as well as the PCIe slot for your graphics card. And then there are other cables that basically connect to the PC or the laptop you guys want to connect your graphics card to. But yeah, checking out inside, you guys can see the dock is definitely not that big. So connecting a graphics card to the mini PC is definitely going to be pretty small. It is going to be pretty compact, so there's not going to be like too much wires going on and stuff. So yeah, here is the GPU dock. You guys can see the PCIe slot. I'm gonna go ahead and just plug in the RTX 5080 to this PCIe slot. And then we also have like the motherboard power supply cable, basically just plugging in so we can go ahead and power up the graphics card. It's honestly a pretty easy process if you guys think about it. I thought it's gonna be like so much more complicated, but it's relatively easy. We also have screws, and I'm pretty sure we also have this little bar thing, which basically just holds onto the graphics card. It literally acts exactly how it would on like a PC case. And then we have this cable right here, which is an Oculink cable, which is basically how we're gonna connect the graphics card to the device you wanna actually place it on. I'm gonna show you guys how it actually works once I show you guys the mini PC I'm gonna be using. But so yeah, you guys basically need an Oculink connector on either your laptop or your mini PC, or even your gaming handheld, because I'm pretty sure you guys could use this dock for a handheld like the ROG Ally. But yeah, $100 for this GPU dock is honestly a pretty good deal, because if you guys basically have a graphics card just lying around, you guys could basically just use this thing to connect it to your super trash laptop, or even like a really bad mini PC you have lying around as well. But here is the dock. This thing definitely has some weight to it. It's like fully aluminum, so it's not like really cheap or whatnot. But yeah, taking a look at the side, you guys could see the Oculink port, which is basically used with this cable right here to connect to your device. And that's literally it. Now we just need to go ahead and set up the graphics card on top of this dock, and also put the power supply over here. You guys can see the space they provide for the power supply. And then we basically just got to set up the cables for the power as well. And that's literally it. Once that's set up, we go ahead and plug this thing into a mini PC, and we're good to go from there. It's really, really easy.
Before I continue, let me show you guys Radio Shack's gaming combo set.
Okay, so this right here is the Radio Shack Mystic Gaming combo set with an entire keyboard, mouse, mousepad, and headphones. Let's go ahead and take a look at everything inside. All right, so first up over here, we have the Radio Shack mechanical wire gaming keyboard. It is a 96 key layout, and the build is mostly ABS, but it's definitely really solid and well put together. And they actually added stabilizers to the bigger keys like the space bar. So overall, the keys are definitely really, really smooth. So I went ahead and plugged this thing in, and you guys can see the RGB on this keyboard. And there's actually 3 modes for the RGB that you guys can basically change on this keyboard. And then over here, we have the Radio Shack ergonomic gaming mouse. It's a really lightweight mouse with a lot of RGB lighting. And it's honestly a perfect mouse since it is really, really lightweight and also has a really nice response time. And then next up, we have this Radio Shack 7.1 USB headphone. It honestly feels like a really, really solid gaming headphone. And it basically has a 7.1 surround sound that actually helps with positional audio in shooter games. So the sound quality from this headphones are definitely really, really clear. The mic quality is also really clear for comms and also for like Discord. And not to mention, the comfort's also really nice. It has a soft padding, so it's honestly perfect for like really long gaming sessions. It's really, really nice padding. It feels honestly amazing on your head. And then last up, we have this gaming mouse pad right here. And as you guys can see, it's also in pink, so it just matches the entire setup. So yeah, make sure you guys check out Radio Shack and their Mystic Gaming combo set. It's literally perfect for an entire gaming setup. I will have it linked in the description for you guys to check it out. Now, to actually use the GPU dock on a mini PC, I literally had to buy a completely new mini PC. I literally have a ton of mini PCs literally just lying around. I have one right here, one right here, one right here, and also one right here. Literally none of them has an Oculink port, which means I literally cannot use the GPU dock for the mini PCs. So I went ahead and bought a new mini PC, and I'm pretty sure it's made by the same company that actually made the GPU dock, which is definitely gonna be perfect since this thing does have an Oculink port. Yeah, this right here is also a Minis Forum mini PC. This is their NAB9 Plus. And honestly, it's perfect just because this thing runs on Intel graphics, but it does have a really powerful CPU. So plugging in an external graphics card to this mini PC is just completely upgrading this thing since it already has a really powerful CPU. It was literally just missing a graphics card, which now we could actually use. So yeah, this mini PC did cost me about $600, so definitely still on a really expensive side for a mini PC. And right off the bat, taking a look at the specs, it does have an Intel Core i9-12900HK. So yeah, definitely a pretty powerful CPU inside of this mini PC. But yeah, you guys can see for the GPU, we're running at Intel Iris Xe graphics. So there's not a dedicated graphics card inside of the mini PC. So perfect for plugging in an external GPU. And then we also have 32 gigs of RAM. I'm pretty sure it is DDR5 RAM, as well as 1 terabyte of storage. So definitely a really powerful mini PC for sure. Literally all it was missing was a dedicated GPU. And now that we can actually use this thing with the GPU dock, it's gonna be really powerful. You're gonna look at the mini PC. You guys can see this thing is definitely a pretty thick mini PC. Definitely like not too heavy, that's for sure. And yeah, like I said, the only reason why I bought this thing was for the Oculink port over here. I literally have 4 mini PCs lying around in my house that are much more powerful than this mini PC that doesn't have an Oculink port. So I couldn't use the external GPU dock, but with this mini PC, we can finally use it. And apparently this mini PC, you guys can go ahead and just take off the cover. It says open the cover by pressing your hands. I don't, oh, so it's really portable to actually like open this thing up. Oh, there we go. We literally can just take a look at the inside just like that. You don't need to unscrew anything, but yeah, you guys can see the 32 gigs of RAM right here. And yeah, everything is super compact inside. Over here, it looks like there's some kind of fan going on. I'm not too sure. But yeah, this is the mini PC we're gonna be using with the GPU dock. It's actually really cool. We can go ahead and just place this thing back on. And then inside, we should also have like the power cables and stuff, as well as the bracket. So if you guys wanna mount this thing to a monitor, this is the bracket you would use. I'm not sure if connecting an eGPU to a mini PC will make this thing super overheat just because this thing is super compact and small, but it seems like there's decent airflow. If not, I can go ahead and just take off this top part, right? If I go ahead and just take it off or just leave like a huge gap, I'm pretty sure the airflow would be like a lot better. I'm not sure how it goes with like a eGPU and its GPU dock, but yeah, I literally just got this thing for the Oculink port. There are other ports for this mini PC, so there is like more airflow on like the backside over here. So really cool from a mini PC. All right, so this right here is the GPU dock, and then this area right here should just be like where the mini PC would sit, I'm pretty sure. I'm actually not sure which side it's actually placed on. I think the most optimal side to place it would be like this. Do I have to? I don't even know. I'm not even sure. I might have to take a look at the listing again, but yeah, you guys can see this mini PC just sits on this area right here. And now let's go ahead and set up the power supply as well as the graphics card on top of this GPU dock. Power supply I'm basically using for the RTX 5080 is this Lian Li 1000-watt platinum power supply. So it definitely has enough power for the RTX 5080. And also another thing I just realized is that this area right here is actually for your power supply. I don't think the mini PC is going to be like attached to this GPU dock. So it's kind of just attached and then placed on top of your desk. First, let's go ahead and just place the power supply on top of the GPU dock. It would be honestly a lot easier if the power supply wasn't this big, but this is the only power supply I have that's above 850 watts. So I decided to use this since we are using the RTX 5080. And then basically next you guys want to use this bracket over here so that you guys can basically just plug in and connect through the PCIe cable and then screw in your graphics card on top. And basically this bracket just goes ahead and attach to your power supply. And then these things over here, you guys can basically just screw the graphics card onto. I honestly thought it's going to be like a much harder process and much more complicated, but I guess so far this thing seems pretty easy. Hopefully it doesn't get like more complicated from here. I feel like everything is really self-explanatory. So yeah, here you go. You guys can see the bracket is attached. Now let's go ahead and screw in the power supply so this thing doesn't go like falling out or anything. And now we can finally go ahead and set up the graphics card, which is this big boy over here, the RTX 5080. And I'm pretty sure all you gotta do is just slide it into the PCIe cable, literally just like how you would for your PC. And also it is mounted vertically, so you don't need any type of like riser cable to make this thing vertical. The GPU will be already vertically. And here is what the entire setup is looking like now. I did have to rotate the power supply just because the GPU bracket wasn't like in line with the graphics card, but here it is. We have the RTX 5080 set up inside of this GPU dock. You guys can see the mounting brackets right on top of the power supply. And all we gotta basically do now is just connect all the cables connecting the power supply to this graphics card, as well as the Oculink port connecting to the mini PC. And this thing should be literally running just like that. It's literally that easy. And then from there, we have the RTX 5080 graphics card powering the mini PC. The mini PC is gonna be super, super powerful now since we have the RTX 5080, but let's go ahead and just connect everything together. All right, so now all the cables for the graphics card connecting to the power supply is connected. You guys can see the motherboard cable right here connecting straight to the GPU dock, since the GPU dock literally acts as the motherboard. And then we also have the NVIDIA cable that actually came with this graphics card connected directly to this graphics card as well. So yeah, the only thing I'm pretty sure we gotta do now is plug in this Oculink port. It's actually in the back of this mini PC right there. Then on the GPU dock, there's an Oculink port down here, and we can go ahead and just connect that as well. And then obviously we just need to plug in power for this mini PC. So go ahead and plug this thing in, and then go ahead and plug in the power cable to our power supply, just like that. Let's go ahead and turn this thing on. And hopefully that's literally the only thing you need to do to set this thing up. So it looks like we have everything connected. Let's go ahead and first just turn on the mini PC, and oh, you guys can see the fan started to spin a little bit and then it just stopped spinning. I'm not sure what that is, but you guys can kind of see there's a light indicator on the bottom of this GPU dock where the power is just lighting up. So I'm pretty sure I set it up correctly. I'm not sure why the graphics card's fans aren't spinning. Maybe I need to press the power button. Okay, that does nothing. Let me go ahead and just plug this thing into a display first and just see how everything works from there. Okay, so first it looks like I need to download the drivers for the graphics card. Since if you guys take a look at the device manager, under the display adapters, it doesn't show the RTX 5080 GPU. And I'm pretty sure this graphics card is just not spinning because it's not under too much load. This also happens when I actually use this graphics card inside of an actual PC. So it's nothing too surprising. This fans usually don't spin until there's like a lot of stuff going on, or like the game is really, really hot, or if your PC is kind of like overheating, so it needs to be cooled down a little bit more. So first, let's go ahead and just update the drivers and even download the drivers for this GPU. And then hopefully from there, we can go ahead and see the GPU pop up inside of this mini PC. All right, so it looks like I have all the drivers downloaded for this RTX 5080. And if I go into the graphics settings, I can go ahead and already see that the RTX 5080 is already plugged in. You guys can still see the Intel graphics right there. So I do kind of have two options to use, either the RTX 5080 or the Intel graphics. So yeah, I think the RTX 5080 is plugged into the mini PC now. It doesn't look like it just because the fans aren't spinning, but yeah, this thing is powered fully by this mini PC. So let's go ahead and see how good the mini PC is and how good the performance is now that I actually plugged in the RTX 5080 graphics card into this mini PC. Now first, I'm gonna take a look at the max FPS we actually get without the RTX 5080. So just straight up from this mini PC. And keep in mind, this thing does run on Intel graphics, so it's definitely not gonna be the best, but if you guys take a look at the max FPS though, it's honestly still pretty good. We're running about like 210 to 220 FPS, mostly just because of how powerful the CPU is. And yeah, this thing is just straight Intel graphics. We're running about like 220 FPS. Let me actually start building a little bit, because there's no way we're gonna be running a consistent like 190 FPS once I start building. Okay, we're running about like a pretty consistent 140 to 150 FPS. Okay, this is actually not that bad. I definitely expected it to be a lot worse since we're running on the Intel graphics, but definitely definitely still very playable. I'm not gonna lie, this is actually pretty surprising, but let's go ahead and put in the RTX 5080 and connect it to this mini PC and see the FPS difference that we could actually get just from plugging in a eGPU. Okay, so now that I have the RTX 5080 plugged into this mini PC, you guys can kind of see we have a little contraption just going on in the side. Also, I did make a mistake earlier by plugging in the HDMI to the mini PC, which basically makes us run through the Intel graphics, but I went ahead and plugged in the HDMI directly to the graphics card. And if you guys take a look at it now, we're connected directly to the RTX 5080. And now if you guys take a look at the max FPS we're getting, yeah, literally just plugging in the RTX 5080, we're pushing close to 500 max FPS. This is actually crazy, bro. From a mini PC, I mean, obviously it's not surprising. This thing is the RTX 5080, a crazy graphics card, but if you want to go ahead and buy a RTX 5080 or a really powerful graphics card and plug it into a mini PC, I mean, there you go. You guys could run a pretty consistent 450 FPS as I'm building right now. Oh my, this is ridiculous. And then also, if you guys have a laptop as well that has the Oculink port as well, and then there you go, you guys can go ahead and plug it into a laptop as well, literally any laptop. And then there you go, you guys basically just completely upgraded your laptop or whatever the hell you guys want to plug this thing into, and boom, you're getting like 450 to 500 FPS. Oh, I didn't actually think this was gonna work, I'm not gonna lie, but this is actually a really cool device. I mean, without the GPU dock, none of this would be happening, but yeah, you guys can see we have the RTX 5080 connected to this mini PC. It doesn't even really take up too much space on your desk too, which is a really good thing. And now if you guys take a look at the max FPS we're getting still in an actual game, it's definitely still pretty good. We're running about like 280 to even like 300 FPS or so. We would definitely run a lot more FPS if the CPU was as good as literally the GPU, but regardless, the CPU on this mini PC is still very good. I'm pretty sure we're not like completely bottlenecking the RTX 5080, so I think we should be good. Okay, give me this. No. Oh my, wait. Did I just get a frame drop? Crack? I swear, I think I just got a frame drop. That was so weird. Literally right when that explosion happened, I got like a quick little frame drop. I don't know what happened, but regardless, right now we're still running pretty smoothly. We're getting about like 250 to even 290 FPS, so, oh my, bro, chill out. 13? 200? 200? Perfect. We're not getting that little frame drop we got before. I'm not sure what that was, but yeah, right now we're still running like 290 to 330 FPS. That is crazy. Height, I'll take height. Full box. $200. Let's go, bro. Let's go. This game is still running really smooth, which is definitely really good. I think it's pretty consistent at about like 300 FPS. I'm not gonna lie, we're still running about like 320 to 340 FPS right now. So this thing definitely does not get any frame drops at all. I'm not too sure what it was before. That was literally like the only thing. But yeah, for the most part, now we're actually running the game really smoothly. So full box. Okay, GG's. RTX 5080 actually is spinning now, so the fans are definitely spinning. You guys can see it now. When you actually play a game, I guess the fans start spinning, but if you guys are just like browsing on your PC or whatnot, the fans don't spin, but right now it's spinning. It's not like fully spinning, it's kind of like half spinning. It's not really using its full power and like max fan speed and stuff, but edit. Okay. Okay. Don't take that. Don't take that. Don't take that. 200. Perfect. I think the lowest I've seen this thing actually drop to was only about like 240 FPS. So, I mean, you guys can definitely tell this thing is still running really nicely. 28. Shot me. Crack. 200. I see him, I see him. I see him. Bro, what is this guy doing? Bro. $200. Perfect. I should be worried. Crack. Okay. Oh, okay, bro. There's no, my shotgun wasn't reloaded. Crack. $200. Let's go. Let's freaking go. Let's go, bro. Oh my. Let's go, bro. This thing was actually running really, really smooth with the RTX 5080. It's honestly a perfect combo, man. Let's go, bro. GG's.